Hey, this is Dr. James Judge.
And Dr. Kalie.
And we are back with another episode of Tea Time with the Judges. It is October 17th?
Roughly.
17th right now. We're over halfway through the pink month, right? And that's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Remember last week we taught you about how we don't like that. We want to make it Breast Cancer Prevention Month. So today what I'm going to do, Dr. Kalie has picked 6 things to help you prevent cancer. And I'm going to just interview her on why she picked those things. She's going to dive into that information to let you guys understand exactly why she picked those to help you apply these things to your life so you can help yourself and your body fight that nasty disease called cancer.
So real quick, before we dive into these 6 awesome cancer fighters, this is not an end-all be-all list, right? So there's a lot of things that you have to implement into your life and into your lifestyle in order to be a cancer fighter and a cancer killer. However, these are 6 things that if you put into your tool belt, into your daily regimen or weekly or monthly regimen, you're going to see some great success in a cancer killing lifestyle. For most people, before you ever have to even go through that, because we know how devastating this is. I just had another consultation with somebody last night going through the early stages of being diagnosed and what to do next. So this is just another, my heart is heavy for people that have to go through this. We've got some friends that are dealing with this, and so if we can prevent just one more person from having to go through the things that people have to go through when they get diagnosed with cancer, then we did a good job.
Yeah, so these things are not meant to quote-unquote cure something. They're again helping your body function at its ultimate level. So we're not going to, like she said, pick one of these things and say this is the cure for cancer. No, we're just helping your body function better because it has the ability already innately to fight it off naturally. And again, we're just helping that function better. So first one, Dr. Kalie, talk about that.
First one is quercetin, and when we do Greek blood tests, and what those are for is when you get a cancerous tumor, they take a bunch of different supplements and different chemotherapies and different things that they would do conventionally and naturally and put it to the test of what kills the tumor fastest. Quercetin comes up in the top 10% almost every single time when it's battling even the top chemotherapies. So I love this stuff, and that's why I love the product Greens First, is because it actually has quercetin in it. And so something I always tell my patients is if quercetin can fight cancer when it's there, how awesome is it to have it every single day and be fighting it? So what is it? Essentially what it does is it protects the DNA cells. It's an antioxidant and an anti-inflammatory, 2 main components that you have to have in order to be fighting and killing cancer on a daily basis. So the anti-inflammatory is huge, and I say it almost, I think, every single episode. It's inflammation is the root cause of every single disease, and it's there, and we have to get that under control. We've got to put the fire out. But it also, one thing that I love about quercetin too is that it binds excess iron. And so when you take that to the next level and think about a cancerous tumor, there's iron in a cancerous tumor. So what it actually does is iron is a fuel for cancer. And so as it's ripping out the cancer, it binds up the excess, iron in the tumor. And so that is like taking gasoline out of your car, and it's not going to be able to go or grow any further. So that's quercetin.
You said something about DNA.
Yeah.
And why would you want to keep the DNA in the proper structure?
Because really, if you think about tumors, if you think about cancer, it's just abnormal cell growth. So even if you have damage to your DNA, there's abnormality that is going to happen. And as things start to replicate and as things start to grow, if you have anything that's abnormal or not the way that it was designed to be, then that's going to, over time, build up into a tumor. You know, it takes about 8 years to have a tumor grow into a size that's even detectable. So that's 8 years of not even knowing that something has been damaged and going on with that.
So abnormal cell growth starts with damaged DNA. Right, and then those cells replicate with damaged DNA, and over time, the tumor grows. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So, again, everything here is to help your DNA stay natural, stay healthy. Okay, number 2 is turmeric, and this is something that I use daily, pretty much all day long in my teas, in my whatever, my shakes, all the time. I use it in my cooking. So why is turmeric so good for you? We talk about it on every other podcast, basically. So
again, turmeric is another anti-inflammatory.
Okay.
I think that's a huge thing here. But it also produces cell apoptosis, so programmed cell death, which is what, if you do have cancer cells, they're not going through the programmed death that they have, the apoptosis. So that's why they're replicating and replicating more rapidly. And so turmeric stops that and puts it back into alignment. It has anti-tumor properties in there, and it's also antioxidant. Another cool point for them is that it has chemoprotective and chemosensitive properties. So even if you were going through chemotherapy, this would be a supplement to actually add into your regimen to protect the healthy cells that you don't want the chemotherapy to go after as well. Because there's no real differentiation between a healthy cell and a tumor cell or a cancer cell when you're getting chemotherapy. So you want to be really proactive about that.
Cool. So,
one more thing about quercetin here, just a couple other places that you can get it. Grapes, raspberries, cranberries from citrus fruits, green leafy vegetables, black and green tea, and then red onions also. So that's some things that you
great.
can add.
So I was also going to ask you, where do you get this? Like, you can do it in powder form?
Yeah, I
juice
actually
it?
just picked up a handful of turmeric roots at the store the other day. So we're going to make what I call it's a golden fat shake or something. And so we're going to make that later. And then you can get it, we have products that have it in the bone broth. You can get just a regular turmeric supplement. Another supplement that we have is called Daily Defense, and it has N-acetyl L-cysteine, which is actually going to help with liver detoxification, as well as watermelon extract and the turmeric in there, which those in combination are going to help with inflammation and then water retention as well. But the root obviously is going to be the most natural form that you can have to go in there. Just make sure when you're using it that you have to peel it. Yeah, you can juice it, but if you're going to do it in like a shake or something or in your food, I had somebody come in, they're like, turmeric is so disgusting, I just took a bite out of it. And I was like, well, you're not supposed to just take a bite out of it. So there's like ways to cook it and prepare it and things like that. And I was doing some research this morning, and they say that turmeric and quercetin, when you combine the two together, is like a power couple when it comes to fighting cancer.
Good. We all know about vitamin C. I want you to cover, if you could, before you go into why you pick vitamin C, why people that are drinking orange juice with vitamin C in it, why it's not really a good thing.
Yeah, so when you get the conventional orange juices at the regular grocery store, typically that stuff is coming in that's super processed, so most of it is heated up really high and the vitamin C has been burned off. Plus then they're adding in a lot of flavor. So if you were to actually just juice an orange versus get orange juice from the store, it's going to look like two different things. Even when the container says 100% orange juice is the only ingredient, they're still adding flavor and some preservatives and all kinds of other stuff in there that they don't have to label because it's under a certain percentage. But it's just not enough for that. You know, even just eating an orange, that is loaded with sugar. Orange is a very sugary substance. So again, you've got to understand what's balancing that out, and that's why a good supplement is amazing for that. It's another antioxidant, anti-inflammatory. If you use it in the right way, your bowels, if you have too much of it, you'll have a diarrhea effect happening.
So that's why it helps people with constipation as well, and we do prescribe that for that reason.
Yep.
But
yeah. So with that, and then even for some cancer treatments, you can even get it, or even other treatments, even heart disease and different ailments that you may have, you can actually get vitamin C as an intravenous and get it into your bloodstream at way higher doses.
turmeric and vitamin C are both antibacterial and antiviral as well. So it helps with not just cancer, but everything, and again, it's helping your immune system work more efficiently. So
yeah, and they talk about how cancer or vitamin C is an antioxidant. So basically, what it's doing is it's like burning the cancer cell. So that's why it's such a good thing. Like when you're going through cancer and you do go in and get the intravenous, it's going in there and it's attacking the tumor cell and burning it and letting it crumble to the ground.
ascorbic acid, right? What is the dosing recommendations per day to keep your body fighting cancer naturally?
I'd say about 1,000 IUs.
Yeah, I've heard though you can take
Milligrams
1,000 milligrams an hour your body can actually utilize. So I wouldn't take, for me, I do for anywhere from 2,500 milligrams to 5,000 milligrams per day, but I don't do it all at once. I make sure that I take it multiple times a day so my body can actually utilize the vitamin C that I'm consuming.
Because it will make you have to go to the bathroom
Yeah.
if you have too much at a time, and
Or you're just taking it and your body can't utilize it. Just like you eat protein, you can only really utilize 20 grams per sitting, per feeding. If you take in 5,000 milligrams in one dose, then you're going to just eliminate it through your waste. It's a waste.
waste of a waste.
Yeah. So vitamin C. Anything else on vitamin C?
Nope.
Okay. What's your favorite source of vitamin C? What do you do?
I use the BioFizz a lot. I don't take it as a daily supplement. I do take it in the winter months just because, like right now is when I'll start ramping up with that every single day. I'll mix it in with actually the greens first that we have, which isn't the most tasty combination. However, it's an amazing bomb that happens. Just because we're dealing with a lot of people, our office has some stuff going on in it right now, so I'm trying to stay ahead of the curve and not deal with it. We get sneezed on and coughed on, and I'm traveling a lot, and all kinds of stuff's happening, so just trying to build it up. So I use the C BioFizz that we have here.
Awesome. No one wants to talk about this, but it's great for you. Green leafy vegetables.
Yeah, so growing up, I was like the pickiest eater, and I kind of love to talk about it now because I was like so bad. James used to give me such a hard time when
She
we
used
were
to get so mad at me.
so mad. Because like when I'm convicted, and you can't like make fun of me enough.
Just try this.
No, it's gonna.
I don't like it. Well, have you ever tried it? No. Well, how do you know you don't like it?
That was me every day. So I wouldn't eat vegetables. Like my salads were like croutons and ranch dressing growing
She
up.
would dip a crouton in ranch dressing, and that was
Zero
her
lettuce.
salad for the day.
And so now,
Or literally take a bowl full of croutons and pour a ranch dressing on top of it.
Dr. Cass,
Salad, great for you.
Anyway, now
Times have changed.
Now I eat vegetables. So if there's anybody out there that thinks you can't do it, I promise you that there is a chance and you will get through it. But green leafy vegetables, they're just loaded with minerals and vitamins and stuff that's just gonna let you heal. And ultimately help you with detoxification as well. Because when it comes to cancer, you want to make sure that you're detoxifying your body properly, and it even helps to bind up the toxins to eliminate it. If you've ever done a juice cleanse before, and a lot of times when I do a juice cleanse, it's kale, it's romaine lettuce, it's spinach, some lemon, some lime, and turmeric and ginger is really like the key ingredients that I use in like a juice cleanse, and that stuff just empties you out, and it cleans up sludge that you didn't even know existed. We talk about how we live a pretty healthy lifestyle, and yet when we do cleanses, you just got done with one. When we get through cleanses, it's like, man, there's a whole nother level that I could be living on because it's like all this stuff happened, without getting into the gory details, but yeah.
Cool. So what type of green leafy vegetables are your favorite to do, and how do you prepare them?
So I love kale. Sometimes people call me Kale Chip as a nickname. I just love it in any form. If you want to have it raw, you just get some like kale in a bowl, get a lemon, and just kind of massage it in there, and it'll soften it up. Because one of the biggest complaints is that it's too hard to eat, or it's too rough and tough. And if you just give it some massage, it's actually amazing. You can make kale chips out of that. You can put it into some soup, which is also amazing. I also like collard greens. I use those a lot as wraps for my different meals. Romaine lettuce, I use that for meals wraps as well. Spinach is amazing. That actually gives you an incredible energy boost, even better than they say that coffee or tea would give you. So that's going to go into the cells. And there's this word called satiation. So a lot of times people like look at my plate and they're like, you don't eat very much, but I get full. And it's a different type of full than someone that's eating like a buffet style food plate that is just filled with a bunch of no nutrient items. So satiation means that you're satisfying your cells. So you're putting the right type of nutrients into your cells to make sure that they're full and they're getting what they need. And then it's going to be able to burn off and break down the enzymes and everything that it has to assimilate into different cells.
You can make it fun too. Like I just got done with this total human cleanse. Literally for 3 days I only had liquids and sludge was coming out. Not to be too graphic, but then I felt amazing at the end, and I want to keep this going, so I want to make sure that my digestive system has a chance to heal. And right now what I'm doing is just putting a bunch of vegetables together. I did this yesterday in a walk, and I literally made stir-fry vegetables that were organic, healthy, nothing bad in them, and I've had that for the last 3 meals. And she talked about satiation. I'm not hungry afterwards. Add a couple of avocados with that, and there you go. You've got lunch, you've got breakfast, whatever you need to do. Put an egg on top of it. You know, you want to reduce the protein intake that you have and make sure that you're increasing all of these green leafy vegetables.
Yeah, so one thing you said is a walk, and I just want to go into the type of pots that you guys are actually using. We use all stainless steel pots and sometimes even cast iron and things like that. A lot of times, like I was just thinking woks, because like the old school woks used to be like Teflon plated, so you want to make sure that you're not using the Teflon types of pots, because the Teflon, when it scratches, it actually leaches into your food, and that is cancer causing.
Yep.
So that was a side note.
Yeah, so be proactive with this. Make it fun. You don't have to just take broccoli and eat it. Vegetables. You don't have to just eat spinach, or take kale and just like a rabbit eat the whole thing. It's actually good if you take the time to prepare it and learn how foods work and combine them together. Like I put some Bragg's amino acids in there. I put some sesame oil in there. And basically that was it. I cooked it up, and it tastes like the stir fry you get at any restaurant. It's
yeah,
amazing.
you know, a lot of times, you know, people, I'll post stuff on Facebook or on Instagram or whatever, and people want the recipe, and you know, I can give you recipe after recipe after recipe, but the reality is that there comes a point where you've got to take the initiative and go learn like what flavors go with what foods are going to be healthy for you, what's not, because you know that we've done that. Like we've put our work in and our time in. Researching and figuring stuff out. So, you know, there's amazing resources out there to learn how to cook and what flavors go with the best things, because most of the time my answer is going to be to you, I do not have a recipe.
Yeah.
I just throw it all together.
Sometimes I just open my shelf and
What's
my cupboard,
left?
and I'm like, okay, what can I make here? And you get good at it over time. A good book that can help you with this is called The 4-Hour Chef by Tim Ferriss, and he goes through tips and tricks on how to help you become that master chef. And it's really super easy once you learn the 5 or 6 key ingredients that go into everything.
Cool.
Number 5, glutathione.
Glutathione is naturally produced in our livers, and it is our body's #1 detoxing agent. One fun fact that I love, I learned a few years ago, but I absolutely love it, is that glutathione is 5,000 times more powerful than vitamin C. So even when you're getting your illnesses and you got the cough and the sniffles, and you know, sometimes I'll tell my patients to take the body detox or the cell detox because it's got glutathione in there. You want to be taking the glutathione because it's going to help boost your immune system, but also it's going to help with your liver detoxification. And in order to be fighting cancer at any high level, you've got to make sure that your liver is not toxic. If it is toxic, then your detox system is broken down.
Some people say that this is the most important thing when it comes to cancer fighting, and it's very expensive if you get like the pure glutathione that people take. I don't even know how they take it, pill form or whatever, but it's huge. You know, you can take it. I think you can actually have patches of it as well. But if you increase your levels of glutathione, it helps your body's function, right? Your immune system's function. So where do you get it?
Again, I mean, we have our own product supplement, which is the detox system. It has that in the cell detox, which is going to get into I think I talked about it last time, is the Pac-Man, and he goes in and takes all the toxins out. And then you can get just the supplement at other health food stores, but you've got to make sure that you're getting quality, and this goes with anything. You want to make sure, just because it says turmeric, but you're getting it at a drugstore, probably not a good idea. There's probably some synthetic forms in there which is harming you more than it's helping you. So if you have any questions on what type of supplements or if you have a regimen that you're already doing, bring that stuff into us and ask us, and I'll give you my honest opinion. I sit down with patients all the time. I'm like, yep, you can keep this, you can keep this. Nope, this is garbage. You got to do this. You got to change this. You can get this somewhere else.
You can actually take a picture of your product and put it on the notes right down at the bottom, or the messages, and we can kind of analyze that for you and help you, guide you in the right direction to where you should be going with that. Because again, you get what you pay for when it comes to supplements, and you got to make sure that you're getting whole food, natural stuff that's not synthetic. It's organic, and it comes from whole food sources.
Yeah, one of my mentors said that the most expensive vitamin that you can take is the one that's not doing anything for you.
Yeah.
And I was listening to a podcast the other day, and I was talking about how supplements that most people are taking is just creating expensive urine. Because your body's not absorbing. Or
expensive, number two.
Number two. They actually do that, like, I think it's Centrum, and they do studies of, like, stuff that comes from the porta potties, and that's the number one vitamin that's found in there, because your body just doesn't absorb it. It's just all synthetic. Goes right through.
A good test would be just get a cup out, put your supplement in the cup, and see if it's absorbed or dissolved within a couple of minutes.
Good stuff.
Cool.
Coffee
Number 6
enemas.
now, I asked her, do
James
we really
hates
have to
coffee
talk
enemas.
about this again? So I'm going to let her go on her tangent with these coffee enemas. But
it's not as bad as you make it out or think it is. It sounds bad and it looks bad, but there's
for the person that's out there, like, thinking, like, okay, how is this enema filled with something I drink in the morning going to help my body function better?
Yeah, so what it does is when it gets into your system, I won't go through the gory details of getting into the system.
You should. You don't have to do that part. But once it's in the system, what happens?
So it goes up and through your intestines, and then it cycles through your liver 6 times per minute. So it's filtering out all the toxins in your liver and getting it into your small intestine, and that's how you empty it out. So people have a misnomer of that doing a coffee enema is simply a colon cleanse or something, and it's not that. And that's what I used to think too. And what it is actually a liver cleanse. And you can do different types of enemas. You can do essential oil enemas. You can do garlic enemas. You can do all kinds of different things for different reasons. There's actually an entire system for fighting cancer that's derived around the principle of coffee enemas, and that's the Gerson therapy. That's something that you can go in and look at. She's got a couple videos to watch. And they have their patients and their people do it sometimes dozens a day. So imagine doing 12 coffee enemas a day.
It's my understanding also that your gallbladder is stimulated, so it helps with...
It helps to actually create more bile in your system to help with the detoxification process also. The liver and the gallbladder are buddies, so they kind of work in conjunction. And so anytime you can get the liver cleansed out, again, we've got to talk about having a clear liver so that you can detox properly. And then that's going to go into allowing your kidneys to detox and then getting the sludge out, because it does get sludge out of your colon and out of your intestines. However, it's not fully just designed for that.
Right.
So that's all I got for that. And this doesn't give you the coffee high, like if you were to take it from the top part down. It doesn't give you that. So you can do it at night, you can do it in the morning. Typically, I recommend for patients, if it's a maintenance thing, I would do it every couple months. I've got a friend who does it almost every single day because she deals with some other things. And there can be, it can help with things like candida, yeast overgrowth. It can help with obviously gut issues, liver malfunction, and then also just cancer healing as well.
Yeah, if you have we talked about sugar before, but you got to remember there's only 6 here. But the main thing that you should start doing right now to fight cancer is stop eating sugar in any form, because sugar directly feeds cancer. She was talking about this week, I think 6 to 7 times more receptor cells on the cancer cells for sugar than a regular cell. It opens up like a flower, it consumes that sugar that you eat, and it just helps feed that fire, right? It's like eating sugar and trying to fight cancer is like trying to put out a fire with gasoline.
It's actually up to 16 times the receptor sites on a cancer tumor for sugar. Yeah. And so this one study that I was reading was talking about how it's literally the tumor has arms and it reaches out into the bloodstream, gets the sugar and feeds off of it.
That's how a PET scan works. When doctors want to see where your cancer tumors are, they feed you with radioactive sugar basically, and it goes through your bloodstream, and then they open up and they swallow up that radioactive stuff, and when they zap you, you can see it lit up like a Christmas tree. So sugar is huge. It's the #1 cause, I believe, that people are having so much cancer today. So,
and people have such a hard time removing from that. So if we can just kind of dial into that a little bit deeper, because I think we chatted about that. We had a talk this weekend. If you were there, you got to hear this, so this might be a repeat. But we just talked about how there's ownership with things, and I talk about this in my nutrition talks all the time. Is that people have to have their piece of cake, or they have to have their Snickers, or they have to have their Diet Cokes, or they have to have their, and you put this ownership mentality onto different food items. You know, I used to be, I think I could probably say this, I used to be addicted to chips, right? To a certain level, to a certain extent, because I would let it run my life a lot of times. That's over with, but I have to have my chips. I was even falling into that mentality. And when it comes to sugar, you've got to just look at it as that's an object. And if I put that object into my body, what is it going to do? Is it going to be killing cancer, or is it going to be feeding cancer? And if you can just start looking at things in that relationship, rather than just feeding these cravings that we get, because it's just a weakness. It's a weak moment, because most times, like after you get done eating that, about 20-30 minutes later, that euphoria feeling, that high feeling that you get, it's almost always gone, and then there's like a state of depression, especially if you're in like a cleanse moment. If you eat that, then you're going to go into almost like a state of depression.
yeah, so I was doing a cleanse this weekend. We went to a Hawks game, and like putting myself in the devil zone, right? Like it was the worst case scenario for anybody going through a liquid cleanse, because there's nachos over here. There's a huge, like, we were in a box suite, so this huge candy cart came with a cake and caramel corn and cheesy corn, and all my friends are there eating and enjoying themselves, and I'm just sitting here like, why did I put myself in this situation? But the reason I did the cleanse is because I want to become more mentally strong. Just like she said, we have unhealthy relationships with food, whether it's candy bar, whether it's chips. I have an addiction to chips and popcorn, you know, but I wanted to reset my brain to prove to myself that I'm stronger than that addiction, right? We're all stronger than those addictions. My mentor, Charlie Majors, once said that being healthy, right? Nothing tastes as good as being healthy feels.
Amen.
Nothing tastes as good as being healthy feels. This stuff is great for you guys, but you've got to do it with the underlying factor that it's to help your body heal itself, right? And we always end with this. The body knows exactly what to do if you are a good steward to your body. If you're providing it with what it needs and taking out what it doesn't need and helping it work more efficiently and in alignment with the innate potential that's already inside of you. The best doctor lives inside of you. This stuff doesn't heal you. Your body heals itself. This just gives it more ammunition to go after those things called cancer and viruses and bacteria.
Yeah, and so last night while I had a conversation with the patient that came in, she was here with her spouse, and we were just talking about some stuff, and one thing that hit me in the middle of our conversation was he kept referring to her as being sick, or as having, cancer or whatever it is. And if you are a spouse of someone who's dealing with that, or wherever you are in your world, just be careful with what words you choose to speak over other people. And I stopped at both of them right there. I'm like, listen, you guys are a team. If you're gonna do this, like, you've got to start speaking life over her. Of she's got something going on, but she's healing. She's not sick. So just really start being start being more conscious of the type of words and the speech that you use towards yourself, and also towards your spouse, or your spouse towards you, whatever it is. Have that conversation, because it is extremely important to overcome those things.
So I guess the closing remarks here is something that just popped into my mind, but I think it's huge for this. What got you here will not get you there, right? So if you have cancer or know someone that has cancer, what got them here will not get them there. So it's lifestyle change that causes most cancer survival rates, right? Most people that gain or develop cancer, or develop heart disease, or develop diabetes, it's the lifestyle that put them there. So we have to change the lifestyle to get over here, to get healed, to make sure that their body is functioning and healing at their optimal level. Next week, I'm going to go through my 6. Dr. Kalie's, we're going to flip roles here. She's going to interview me. So I'm going to go through 6 more things that I know helps your body fight cancer. And then the following week after that is October 31st. So we're going to be dressed up in our little costumes here. So that's going to be an amazing tea time as well. Don't forget, we have 5 Essential Friday every Friday, 10:30 a.m. So thanks, guys, for being here today. Cheers.
I don't have a
Oh,
cup.
she forgot her tea. So
Sorry.
I guess it was solo tea time. Have an amazing week, guys. Talk to you soon.